So that's happening. And I'm also going to share my screen. So what I'm doing is she says I had it already and now I can't understand why that's doing that. So let's have a look. No, that's why. No. Oh, there it is. There it is. Right. Can you see something that says your life, your choices?
No, first steps to manager.
Right, okay, then I'm going to stop share. It does this really weird thing where you do a share and there it is. And if you don't give it the right screen, now you should see your life, your choices.
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent, right. So what I'm doing is over the period of this week, the next few weeks, and I did one last week, so I'm doing the first steps to manager. So you should all have, hi Julia, you should all have your first steps to manager manual, which you got in your original box when you joined. Obviously, Janine, your figures are going to be slightly different because I'm going to be speaking in pounds and you're in euros. But basically it's the same. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this is just to recap on some stuff that I know that some of you know, but sometimes it needs to be reiterated as well. But also, if you actually search, and I'll have to stop sharing my screen unless, if I do that, can you now see my Facebook page? Or do you still see your choices?
No, your page.
Facebook page. You can see my Facebook page.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So if you go to search, so this is, so I said that it's the Symphony Group team page. Sorry, that was the message I sent. So if you go to the Symphony Group team Facebook page and go to the search button and go first steps and search, what you'll do is you'll find first steps week 1. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this, so that this will be first steps week 2, it means that when you get new people, you can direct them to this. So you don't have to, they don't have to wait for stuff and you don't have to wait for stuff. So there's a way of hi Sapida, it's a way of actually just kind of letting you know the things that you know, reiterate some of the things that you need to know. But also it's a way for you, because I record these, for you to use these for new team members as well. So you've got all sorts of things going on. It may be a good idea if you all mute, as Janina's done, just in case I get feedback or, you know, like you've been, I know somebody coughed then, I'm not having a go at them, but it's just more that if you all cough, then it gets very noisy. So there's various things I want to look at tonight, but one of the things is actually on the goal setting side. And that's where we talk about is your life and your choices. The great thing about Forever is that none of us sit here and go, right, Sapida, you have to do this and you have to do that. And the reason you have to do this is because I've got my goals and I want you to help me get my goals. We always talk about what is it that you want? What time have you got? What is it that you want and how quickly do you want it? So when it says your life, your choices, it is your life, it is your choice, okay? However, if you get your box and you think there's fairy dust in it, and when you open it out, all this fairy dust will just create a business, and I'm afraid that's not going to happen. You have to take action, but it's also really important you know why you're taking the action. So, and I think this is one of the most important statements ever. Remember, this is a work list, not a wish list. So this is when you're looking at your goals. So this is not I'd like to, this is right. This is what I'm prepared to work for list. Okay, and there's a difference. So on my wish list, for those of you who have seen my dream book, in it I have Pierce Brosnan. Now that's very much a wish list. I'd quite like to meet Pierce Brosnan. I think he's rather gorgeous. I liked him as James Bond. Now, you know, maybe the secret might, you know, if I put it out there in the universe, he might knock on the door one day. I've got no idea, but it's not something I can actually work for, okay? Whereas, so for instance, we're going to be getting a new front door this year, and it's going to cost £1,000. Now, the thing is, I potentially could put that on here as a goal, so that I would go, right, I'm looking to earn an extra £1,000 so I can pay for the door myself. So it's a definitive, I will have a time limit on it because of the winter coming. So that is something that I will be looking to work for. So as it says here, what are you prepared to work for? And it's thinking about those short-term goals, and usually it's the things that you need. So in the next 3 to 9 months, so we really do need a front door. So actually that's a really good example. In the next 3 months, or probably in the next month or two, we need a front door. So that's a very short-term goal. So and you can see here you've got the short-term goals on the personal side, the family side, and on the business side. Now, the thing that people find most difficult doing is they can do things on the family side, the business side, and you don't have to necessarily have a family. So for instance, Sue, I know you've got Fraser, and Julia, you've got your beautiful dog as well. So it doesn't have to be family, but what is it that you want to do with the people that you care about? That's what I would say are family goals. And Janine, you've got cats, so just don't mix them with the dogs, okay? But you've also got business goals as well. The thing that people find really difficult is the personal goals. And lots of people do have quit my job on their personal goal, but there's not actually a plan on how they're going to replace that income, okay? So again, if anybody needs any help on that, just let me know. Or it could be that you want to, pay your credit card debt off or whatever, or pay the mortgage or whatever it might be. You might want to actually cover your monthly mortgage or rent from your forever business. So that could be a short-term goal. But what do you want is more, the want area is more the 1 to 2 years and the 2 to 5 year goals, so the longer term ones. So that might be wanting to drive a Porsche, get a holiday home, all sorts of things. But those are more want things rather than need. So I'm just trying to think of some of the other need things that they could be. There could be a need that you need 4 new tyres for your car between now and in the next 3 months. Do you understand me? Those are things that you have to have, because if you don't have them on your car, then your car's illegal. And these may be you might go, well, I always need new tyres sort of every 2 or 3 years, or however many times you need tyres. I don't know. It's really difficult, isn't it? Sorry, I don't know how many times my tyres get changed, which is awful. But in reality, think about how you're going to pay for it. It could well be that you want to use your forever business to actually do that as well. Hi, Ashley. I see you just joined us as well. So in thinking, this is the most important thing, and it's the thing that needs more time on it than is spent generally. What people tend to do is they just go, oh, I'll just put this down. I'll just write a list of, I don't know, I want to wear Bowden clothes or whatever. You've got to really want these things, because if you're not going to put something on here that you're prepared to work for, remember there, what are you prepared to work for? If you're not prepared to work for it, you're not going to do it. Okay, so when you're thinking about your goals, really do think very seriously about it. You can never fail in forever as long as you are consistent in your daily business building. So it is actually making that plan to actually consider, just take 10 minutes to consider what you're really willing to work for. Just after tonight, just sit there and go, right, what am I really willing to work for? And then you kind of know why you're getting out of bed for your forever business. And again, that will be consistent work towards it. Now, to be able to understand what rewards you'll get for what you're going to put in, we're going to be talking about case credits. Now, again, I know I've done this recently, but I think it's really helpful, but also this is all to do with planning as well. Okay? So Again, you can go to your First Steps to Manager manual, and you'll be able to find lots of information there for you. But you've got your personal use, and I know that some of you do this. What I used to do, well, and also I've also got the new skincare, the green one, which I haven't actually opened yet. When we bring in new products, I buy the new products to actually use myself. Well, just check them out really as much as anything else. But I know that what some of you do is you buy one new product with every order you put in, or you put a new, or once a month, or once every 2 weeks, or whatever. I would never have used MPD if I hadn't done that, which is our multi-purpose detergent, and I use it for all sorts of things, mainly washing our clothes, and it's been great for us actually. We used to use Fairy non-biological powder. I have had really sensitive skin actually, but I don't anymore, having used our products. And washing powder was one of the banes of my life, because basically, if I cannot use a biological powder because it's like it's eating away at my skin. That's the only way I could describe it. But I use our MPD in our washing machine for every wash that we use. I also use it as a washing up liquid. I wouldn't have used it if I hadn't done that thing where I bought a new product. I bought a product I'd not used, and that's how I came into contact with that. What we're looking to do is to help you get some regular retail customers. If you've got 20 customers spending £25 a month, then that's they're spending £500 with you. So if you think about that, about a third of that, well, half of that is 250. So we're talking that would be about £200 if you had 20 customers spending that amount. But then you might also be bringing a couple of people into the business. So you've got your personal use, your retail, and also your recruitment. And again, you'll be receiving an income from all of those things. And if you master the 4cc habit, and congratulations to Sue, because she's done that for the first time in August, and teach your team to master that 4cc habit, everything in the marketing plan is possible. So I do anything between 6 to 8 case credits regularly on a monthly basis. And that obviously that's accumulated over time. But I never failed to do my 4ccs. It was a habit right from the outset, actually. I made a decision that I was going to do my 4ccs because I felt that was the only thing that I was asked to do. And I thought if I just make it a habit, then I will just continue to do it. And when I originally started, I found it quite, was quite anxious about doing it. And then and I can't remember when, but it just became a habit. And all I do now is just go, oh, when I look at the stuff, and I go, oh, I've hit my 4ccs this month. And it varies. Sometimes I might do it as early as the 8th of the month. Sometimes that might be the 20th or the 24th. But I would say it wouldn't go any further than that. In fact, probably not further than about the 20th of every month. Because again, it's just something that I naturally do because again, I've accumulated up my customers, our personal use, and sponsoring people into the business. So let's look at this, unlocking the potential of the marketing plan. I'm shooting through some of this because of time really more than anything. But the benefits of the marketing plan. So this is something that is really unusual. All our bonuses are based on retail, excluding VAT. So whether you're receiving 35%, 38%, 43% or 48%, all your bonuses are based on retail, but then don't include VAT because that's a tax. Though if you're listening in America, you won't have VAT, you probably have some other kind of tax, I would imagine. Anyway, so all bonuses are based on retail. Now, what Forever did a couple of years ago now was what they do is you actually gain all your bonuses when you purchase your products for either your personal use or for retail. So what they're in effect doing is, let's say you're buying products for retail, they're putting 35% in your pocket immediately instead of just the 30 and then waiting for your 5% bonus. So again, they're very generous in that respect as well. No one can bypass you on the marketing plan. The marketing plan is the way that we're paid, and no one can bypass you. They can be at the same level as you, but they can't bypass you. We all know it's a global opportunity. We know that because I've mentioned we've got Janine on the call, and as I said, we might have Michelle from America on the call as well. There's no limit to the amount of money that we can earn, which is really important. And the other thing is all marketing plan positions are permanent. So we don't play snakes in this business. We only play ladders. And that's really important so when you join, the other network marketing companies require you to do a certain amount for you to stay at a certain level. Forever don't require that. They say once you get to a certain level, you stay there. You do not move from there at all, unless of course unless you're going upwards, but you don't slip down at all. So again, they're very generous in that respect. So your income and your promotions are down to you. It's entirely up to you, and you can't be made redundant. Okay. So again, just very, very secure in that respect. So let's have a look at some of this. Might just have to, I don't know if you can see this, but your pictures are all here to the right hand side, and I might just have to move you occasionally just so I can see stuff. So if you look at here, this is where you're an assistant supervisor and you're actually receiving a 35% discount on everything that you buy, whether it's for you or you're actually buying it for your customers. So we all buy at a 30% discount, but then the personal bonus changes dependent on where you are within the marketing plan. So, and we would anticipate that somebody at an assistant supervisor level, dependent on the amount of retail they're doing and the number of people that they are bringing into the business, would be anything in between £200 to £400 a month. Okay, so this is on everything that you're buying in. This is anything on your retail and anything that anybody's joining your business. So I know it's got the old drinking gel there, and it's also got the old price, which is slightly frustrating, but bear in mind that the prices have just gone up very slightly. But so the profit will still be around, it will be a little bit more than £7.38. So every time you sell one of the drinking gels, then you're making, let's say, £7.50. Okay, so if you've got a customer who buys 2 off you a month, that's £15 a month. If for some reason somebody buys a C9 off of you, the profit for you is around about £35. If somebody buys an RG off you, so again, dependent on the value of the product that you're selling, you'll have a different profit. But you can just see with the different different products there, how you can make your profit. So for every 1 case credit you retail, you'll make £82 profit. If you bring somebody into the business, you're an assistant supervisor, they're an assistant supervisor, then you'll receive £39 from the company. So there's 2 different ways that you can receive an income. It's through your retail and through sponsoring when you're an assistant supervisor. So I'm not going to read these out, because when you go back over this, you'll be able to see how you can make these amounts of money. Okay? And you can see there, you've got the retail and the recruiting there. And we've done 2 CCs, 4 CCs, and sponsoring a variety of different people. But if you remember, I said that you can earn anything between £200 to £400. And you can see here, you've got examples of earning anything between £320 and £484. You decide what you want to earn. If you want to retail more, you earn more. If you want to sponsor more, you earn more. And also by sponsoring more, then it's easier for you to actually move up, as I say, the marketing plan. So the next level is supervisor. And really what's happening here is you're getting more retail profit. Every time you bring somebody into the business, it's £45 instead of £39. However, what will also happen is you'll also be receiving your 3% team leading bonus on anybody who's in your team who is an assistant supervisor. If you've got supervisors in your team, there will be no difference, and you won't be receiving any bonuses off them, but you will be receiving it off your assistant supervisors. And you can see here that for every assistant supervisor who does 4 case credits, you'll receive £24, which is not an awful lot of money, but again, it will accumulate up. And you can see here, in this example here, where you're just retailing, sponsoring, and you've got assistant supervisors, then again, you can see where your income is coming from. So it doesn't jump very much from assistant supervisor to supervisor. However, when you actually get to assistant manager, this is when it starts to get a lot more interesting. And I remember when we went to assistant manager, we actually did it on the 19th of the month. And that reminds me, I should also say that what Forever Do is what you have a 2-month period to do the case credit. So for an assistant manager, you're looking to do 75 case credits over a 2-month period. Immediately you and your team hit those 75 case credits. And as I say, we did it on the 19th of May. They will actually split the order as well, and you will then receive the higher amounts. So they don't wait until the end of the month. They will do it immediately. And again, that's very generous of them. They'll do it immediately. You actually go on to the next level. So if you remember, as an assistant supervisor, you were receiving £39 for every assistant supervisor. As an assistant manager, you're getting 54. So it's getting more interesting. For every 1 CC you retail, it's 98 instead of 82. For every assistant supervisor who does 4 CCs, you're making a £64 profit. So that's a lot of difference from when you were a supervisor. And also remember, you've got for every supervisor who does 15 case credits, you get 150. So you can see how the figures here are getting a lot more interesting. So total income, and this is where you're retailing 2 case credits, sponsoring a couple. You've got 1 assistant supervisor who does 4 CCs and 2 who do 15. So again, you can see how the figures are getting a lot more interesting. And you can just really kind of play around with these figures if you wanted to. What you're doing is, there's you as an assistant supervisor, you're receiving 8 on your assistant supervisors and 5 on your supervisors and their total business. So although the percentage is smaller, the size of the business is bigger, because it's you're getting bonuses on the whole of that business. Okay? But when you get to manager, it gets really, really very interesting. And again, these figures are, when I look back on these figures, these are well, I think they're slightly conservative, but not massively conservative. I think our first assistant manager check, I think, was about 800. So again, just to give you an indication. So as manager, and this is where you've done you and your team, but you've got an amalgamation of assistant supervisors and assistant manager, and it's really everybody in your team, you collectively who have done 120 case credits over a 2-month period, or you can do 150 over a 3 or 4 month period. So there are 2 different ways to do it. You can see here, instead of getting £82, you're getting £108 in profit for everything that you retail. Instead of getting 39 as an assistant supervisor, you're getting £64 every time somebody comes into the business. And you can see here again the differences that you've got. So you're accumulating. So for just 1 assistant supervisor who does 4 case credits, you receive £104. For every supervisor who does 15 case credits, you get 300. And for every assistant manager who does 45, you get 450. So again, and I'll leave you to look at these figures afterwards, but you can see here how your total income can come up to something like £1,706. And again, I know that's, that was some, we were slightly more than, I think we were 1,900 and something when we went manager. So the reason I'm mentioning the money is because if you remember when I said about what is it you're prepared to work for, then you actually, let's say for the front door, I was saying that I need to find £1,000 to pay for a front door. So I know I'm a manager in the business, but I could do that by retailing. I could retail 10 case credits. But if I'm going to do that, I have to have a plan on how I'm going to do that. Am I going to do events? Am I going to, in other words, am I going to do stands of events, or am I going to do launches at my house? Am I going to get out more experience packs? Am I going to do a promotion with my customers? What is it I'm going to do if I'm thinking, right, if I want that money, how am I going to accumulate it? I could focus in on that. It could be that I think, well, actually what I'll do is I'll sponsor 15 new people into the business, because that will give it to me without them actually doing anything at all. Or it could be that I go, right, I'm going to work specifically with one person. I'm going to help them get to supervisor over the next couple of months. If they do that over a couple of months period, then again, I accumulate the money. Or it could be that I do a combination, and that's really what I would do. I would do a combination of those things. So think about what is it that you want. The reason, as I say, I'm showing you the money side of it is so that you can see the results of the efforts that you would put in and why you would want to do something. That makes sense. So think about what an extra £1,600 a month would mean to you. So I want you to actually think about that and write what that would actually mean to you after we've done the webinar tonight, because I suspect that sort of money would make an awful lot of difference to quite a few of you. So, but think about what an extra £1,600 a month would mean to you. Or if you want to, think about what an extra £3,200 a month would mean to you. But why not start with the 1,600 to start with? Okay. So I'm not going to go on to this aspect because we're coming up for the end, because I normally try and keep this to half an hour. So I just want to know if there are any questions, because I'll talk about the manager aspect next week. But if you want to unmute yourselves, feel free and then ask any questions.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mm.
Can we have a quick catch up afterwards?
Yeah, go on.
It's okay. Have you got 5 minutes afterwards?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. Any other questions at all? This is a tonic, by the way.
Yeah.
It is. We're not drinking in September.
Oh.
You know what we did today? Because we had our captain's day at golf today. We only won 4 bottles of wine today.
That's the universe.
We've just put in the cupboard. We've just put in the cupboard. We're not drinking it.
That's the universe having a laugh.
It is. I thought, how ironic is that?
I've got a
But anyway, any other questions?
Yeah. I've not received my box yet, so in the meantime, what can I do to like encourage people? Because obviously I'm going to be doing a launch.
Right. So when is your box coming?
I think either Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay, well, what I would suggest is I know it's frustrating for you, but what I would do is I would wait until Wednesday and literally do what I did and literally just kind of tip it out on the floor and start using it. So that would be my best advice to you, because what I found was the easiest way to actually move product was to use it. You may want to say to people in the meantime, I can't wait for Wednesday because I've got, I'm starting my new business on Wednesday. So you might want to do that, but it's very difficult to talk about product when you haven't experienced it. But I know it's frustrating for you. But if you have, I don't know if you've used any products. Have you been?
I've used a few, yeah.
So you know.
Well, the toothpaste.
Yeah.
And the heat lotion, I've tried that as well.
So again, I would just be enthusiastic about what's happening on Wednesday, and then when you get an opportunity to use it, then it just makes life a lot easier. You can talk about the tooth gel and the heat lotion if you've still got it as well. And as you say, if you've got launches booked as well, that's really important to have your launches booked as soon as possible, because again, it just gets the word out for people. Because you're in Sonia's team, are you, Faz?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is Sonia coming up to do those, or I'm sure you'll have a conversation with.
I think she's going to do FaceTime while I do the launch.
Oh, that's a good idea. And do you know what? That's a really fun way to do it as well, is to actually do it FaceTime, because it actually, it's just a really fun way to do it. But yeah, that's what I would advise. Any other questions at all? Okie dokie. Right. We try and keep these to half an hour. So remember that you can use these. If for some reason you've got somebody in your team that couldn't make this evening or couldn't listen in last week, I recorded it because we had friends around because it was bank holiday last weekend. You might just want to tag them in it. So what I will do this evening after I've spoken to Julia, we won't be recording our conversation, Julia, because I'll start recording in a moment. But it'll be going out. Let's go first steps, week 2. So feel free to tag your team on it, that anybody that you think would find it helpful. Okay?
Thank you.
Okie dokie. I will see you next weekend, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That's no problem. Cheers, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Oh, look, babies.